we just finished zigzagging, so it's a 2x2 zigzag stretch stitch down the inner leg, connecting the front to the back pant leg. So you're going to notice that these are not lined up together, and that is correct. As you go down there, that zigzag stitch will give it a little bit of stretch, but what makes it even nicer is if you finish it off with the serger. I had you do the 1/2 inch seam allowance so we could actually cut all of that off and just serge it. This pant leg over here, I just serged, and noticed there's less bulk inside the seam allowance to cause friction on your legs, so that's why we're going to serge it off like this. You will be using matching thread. I just use the contrast so that you can see it a little bit better. Once you sew that inner leg together and you serge the seam, then you'll lay one side out, right side up. But let's go over the serger and see how you're going to do this. When you go to the serging area, please do not take any pins. And that's one of the reasons I had you do this zigzag stitch too, so that now you don't have any pins to worry about. If a pin happens to nick that knife blade, it makes it so it won't cut on that area, and then things really get jammed up in here. Okay, when you line this up, we want to be going serging over that line. So if you notice on the front of the toe, there's these little lines right here. I want you to go right in the middle and then move over 1/8 of an inch. That is where you're going to line up your zigzag stitch line on your serger. And you can even lift up the toe and make sure you have it there. Notice all this that's past the knife is going to get cut off. And I'm just going to keep it even and go ahead and serge through. Now, I checked my machine before I started, and I thought it would do a little bit better if I adjusted the differential feed. So when you sit down, I want you to take some of your scraps over and just look and see, sew a couple of scraps together, just little pieces, and see if it lays flat. If there's any ruffle at all, you're going to turn this knob from neutral, the N, to 1.5. And it changes the pressure on the presser foot. Okay, let's go back here and give it a serge. Now you'll notice that as I'm serging, this fleece is so thick it tends to get caught up in here. So be sure you keep it down and to the side. You can even just hold it down every once in a while or just move it, but serge all the way down. You want to have one hand to the side, one hand holding your garment so that you make sure that you do it straight. And then when that starts getting backed up, just pull it down. And I think I got a little bubble, so I want to make sure. I'm going to lift my presser foot for just a minute and make sure I have everything nice and smooth under there. Okay, then I'll put it back down. Keep serging until you have your 4-inch tail, and then trim those threads, and then go back up and trim the threads at the top. Now, because I adjusted that differential feed button, I think if I lay this down, I'll get a pretty nice smooth seam. Now, with both of my inside leg seams sewn together, now I'm ready to open them up and do step 2. So on step 2 on your pattern guide sheet, you'll place one of your sides right side up, the other side right side down. And again, I marked my edges so that I would know that I have my right sides together. I'm going to go down here where I serged the leg seams together, and I'm going to just finger press one seam to the side this way, and the other seam, actually I'm going to do the top one because I'll be able to view it easier as I'm serging. I'm going to finger press it to the left and this one to the right, and then just snug those right up next to each other so that my seam will meet under here. So that will be nicely lined up. I'm going to put a pin right in this center where they're connected first, and then I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and I'm going to zigzag this seam together before I ever bring it back over to the serger. So with that one connected right at the inside seam, I'm going to lay these down, and a way to double check do I have the right pieces together is to make sure you have the 3 notches and the 3 notches matching in the back, the 2 notches and the 2 notches lined up and matched in the front. So pin the top together, pin your notches together, and then make sure it lies smoothly in between and put just a couple more pins in. You might even, because this is such thick fabric, you might even want to put them like 1.5 inches apart like this. When you get to the curved area, put even a couple more pins in to hold it really firmly. Okay. And then you'll do the same thing with the other side. Match up your top, match your notches, and put a few more pins wherever it's curved.